Hello, my name is Chris Hooks, and I'm an Upwork freelancer specializing in Google Apps scripts and Google Sheets automations. This is just one of my recent projects with I partnered with WH Laboratories. They had this process traveler that is a physical form that they print out and they pass it to each department as certain tests get completed. So the first department is NDE. Once that's completed, it goes to the next department that has selections on it, and so on and so forth, gets passed down the line. So what they needed was a way to digitize this and turn this into a Google Sheet where each department could view what they had on their to-do sheet and of course change the status of the job, mark the job as complete, so on and so forth, and actually be able to view a digital form of this that they could print out, send to a PDF, send to the customer when it's done to show them that, hey, the test is complete, sign off on it with the done by and the date. So that is what I created for them, and that's what you'll see in this tutorial. First step in this process to create a form that captures all of this information and then basically fills out this traveler and create a dashboard to keep track of each department along the way. So using JotForm, I created this intake form for them. So we capture the customer representative, PO number, pretty much everything that's captured on this sheet, we capture it right here on this job form. So with the test required, this looks and feels exactly like the form they're using. Just instead of them checking the box, they just click one of these digital check boxes. If they add more tests, they can type it in here. JotForm gives you the flexibility to do check boxes in one of these data columns and then text in another. So this was very useful. I thought JotForm was the best. They discussed using Google Forms, but Google Forms does not have this capability. So JotForms was definitely the way to go. This actually works out very well for them. Then you have a manual department selection at the bottom if they just need to manually add something, but it doesn't fall into one of these categories. So once they hit submit, this information comes in here. So you do have a raw data. So this is where all this information is stored, just a quick view of it. So it's tons of columns that we sort through using Google Apps Script. So I'll hide this sheet back. So this is the live dashboard that you're viewing. These are live jobs. So the automations that we put in place was as soon as a job is submitted, it basically inserts a row at the top and then it fills out the information from the intake form that they submitted here. So we get the lab number, we get the customer name, we get the material description, and we fill it out. Then we determine which department needs to be set to do. So these are not manually set initially. So based off of this process traveler, using the Google Apps Script, I determined that the mechanical department needed to be set to do, and we added to the mechanical department sheet. So here you will also see this job with a status of to do. So the lab numbers, that is also another script that is run. And here, this is actually great. We see another live job coming in. So as the links are being generated, you see it says, please wait. And with the lab number there, this is generated by a script. So basically it's the year, the month, the day, and then the number of whatever number submission it is. So if they delete a job, if they delete 04 because it was the wrong thing and they go back and rerun it, it's still going to come back as 04. So I was able to create a script that stores deleted numbers or reuses them before it moves on to the next. So they didn't want a gap in their numbers. Like if they deleted one, they wanted that number to be able to be reused if it was truly deleted. So once it's done processing that submission, it creates a process traveler link, which is here. So if we open this up, you'll notice this looks just like the form that we saw in the beginning of the video here. So I was able to recreate this using Google Sheets. And as you see, these checkboxes are already checked. The tests, they put in a manual test here, so MPI, and that box is checked. And then they put some stuff here, and then they checked on hardness. So based off everything here that's filled out on the sheet, it went to 3 different departments: metallurgical, mechanical, and chemical. And here's another test coming in, or a new job coming in. But that's the way it works. And then I have automations to help with managing this dashboard. So you have delete, cancel, select a job, update a PO number, which will update it on all of the sheets where that lab number is located. And it also updates it on the process traveler. So if they need to if it says TBD, this is a great example. When they put it in, they type in the PO number in this column here. Then when they go to this and do update dashboard, update PO number from the dashboard, it will also update this PO number. So other automations include update material description, does things in the same thing as PO number, but just does it for material description. Generate links for selected rows. So there was a time Google was experiencing a lot of server errors. So it would error out when it would do the process travel link and creating a drive folder. So I created an automation for them to generate the links if they didn't generate. If they need to add it to a department, like the customer says, oh, I actually need an NDE test done. And so instead of them trying to manually go to the NDE tab and add this, they can simply click on the row and then click add to lab to NDE. So once they're done with a job, they needed a way to archive. So I created an archive sheet. And of course, if they're on the dashboard and they select the row and they click archive, select the row. So they can do a single row or they can do multiple rows. As you can imagine, at the end of the week, if you've done 30 jobs, you don't want to click each row one by one and do archive a selected row. It would just take too long. So they are allowed to select multiple rows there. Last but not least, of course, is a restore row from archive. So if they select one row only, they can restore it back to the dashboard. So automations I included on the process traveler is additional tests. So if they added a test, there was no way for me to know, hey, I noticed you clicked on an NDE test, and when you hit update dashboard, I know that I need to do NDE. So it really wasn't a way to do it. So we discussed it and said, let's do it by department. So if it's an additional test, they can select additional test NDE. But let's say if it's a chemical test and it failed and they needed a retest. So we came up with a way to do that too. So retest chemical lab, and that changes the status of the job to retest. So like here, we have retest and additional test. So once one of those is set, it's set to purple with the white text. So it stands out to let them know, hey, this is not the beginning of a job. This is actually a retest. And then update material description. So if they need to update material description here, that will, of course, update it back on the dashboard in any of the department sheets where that material description lives. So the drive folder basically just houses, it's created with the automation. So when they hit submit, it creates this folder. So each job submitted gets its own folder, and they can open these folders and add documents to them. For instance, if we go to one of the older ones, you'll notice that all of these other documents have been added. So now they have a file structure without the need of a file cabinet. So this allows them to be very organized and make sure all the documents that pertain to this process traveler, this job, are in the same file. So when they go to submit this to the customer, all they need to do is download each one of these files, put them in the email and say, hey, the job has been completed, using, whatever jargon they use, and move on to the next job. So this has been very helpful with streamlining their workflow and keeping everyone on the same page to know what's going on versus the old style way of, hey, let me see that piece of paper and let me see, what step in the process you're in. So now they have a way to keep track of everything and make their workday smoother. And I've been working with them, and hopefully we're able to add more automations and make this even better. So thanks for watching. I hope I can help you with your automation one day. And let's sit down and have a consultation. Let's talk about what I can do for you.